All right, everybody. Welcome back to the E-commerce Revolution podcast, episode 22, or as I remember a show, 2 and 2, right? 22. We're coming to you live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube as well. We will obviously have a replay of this episode, which is going to be a really good one. We are excited about this one. We'll have a replay up shortly after our live event is over, and then you'll see lots of promotion about this event. So stay tuned. My name is Ramin. I'm the host of the show. I'm also one of the managing partners at Skew Agency. So let's get this thing started. All right. I always like to play that opening music, gets everybody pumped up. So as I said, today's episode is a great one. We are excited about this, and we are so happy that we found today's guest to come on and talk to us about something that intrigues all of us as marketers, as well as maybe you on the other end as e-commerce business leaders as well. We're going to be talking about TikTok, all right? And we're specifically going to be talking about TikTok and how to use TikTok to grow your e-commerce traffic and your sales. So listen, TikTok is huge. 1.3 billion users as of January 2022. It's the darling of the social media space. It is the social media platform that all other social media platforms are trying to live up to and playing catch up. So great news. If you are an e-commerce business leader and you want to learn how to use TikTok to grow your sales and grow your traffic, today's guest is going to do and help us with that. All right. She is a bona fide TikTok expert, currently runs a successful agency helping brands grow their traffic and sales through social media channels, including TikTok. Okay. And make sure you stay tuned till the end of the podcast, where she's going to share a tip that is going to take your e-commerce business to the next level. So without any further ado, please welcome Lauren Schwartz, the E-commerce Revolution podcast. Lauren, great to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Good. This topic, you must get a lot of requests to talk about this topic, right? With TikTok, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I mean, most recently, yes.
I bet.
Definitely a hot topic.
I bet. Well, I appreciate you making the time in your schedule. You just told us actually before we went live that you are launching another, I guess, arm or another part of your agency, or actually another agency, which is amazing that you're here today talking to us. I love this.
Yeah. It's literally launching today.
Wow.
So it's myself and 2 other strategists.
Wow.
We're basically just launching a creative strategy agency only. So no design, no media buying, just pure strategy.
Love it. And strategy is very important, as we know, and we're in the space too. And, getting things done is very important, but having that strategy ahead of time, really putting, your best foot forward is so important. So congratulations on the
Thanks.
launch. And maybe you'll tell us a little bit more about that at the end. So we know where to find out about that agency as well as your current agency. So before we jump in today, I was struck by something. I was doing the research for the show, and I, took a look at, LinkedIn, and you've got your LinkedIn profile banner up there, and it reads "Creative that drives revenue." Creative that drives revenue. Tell me more about that. I mean, especially in this day and age of video and mobile first, what should businesses understand about creative and how creative drives revenue?
Yeah, so I think, obviously after the whole iOS 14 update, a lot of people just realized that creative was such a huge part of their strategy. Before the iOS 14 update, everyone was very focused on just kind of throwing everything into an ad account. And most of the time you could kind of just throw things in, test it, see it, how it would work. And then most of the time it would either perform or it wouldn't. And it wasn't really a big deal. But then once the iOS 14 update happened, people needed to hone in on their creative and hone in on their creative strategy. It was such a huge shift in the way that marketers started thinking and started really talking about their ads, and making sure that people are understanding the creative and how it is going to perform, I think was just such a huge shift for people. So really the Loft 325, we just focus on that. We focus on all of your creative strategy, and really helping our brands and clients focus heavily on the creative of how it's going to perform. What are the first 3 seconds? What are the hold stops? What are, anything that has to do with creative, we focused heavily on that to make sure that we're giving them a strategy that's going to really help them push sales.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And yes, we 100% agree with you. Creative is very important out there. And, definitely that shift, once that shift happened, the fact that, you're utilizing that shift and really bringing creative to the forefront is very important. And, just makes for better ads. And I assume better conversions at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you've been in the e-commerce space for about 15 years or more, right?
Yep. It's been 16 years since I've been doing this.
Congratulations. That's a long time. Absolutely a long time. And just tell me, in that time frame, tell me about digital marketing in general. What's happened? Has it become more complex? Has it become easier, for businesses to navigate? What's your take on it?
I think obviously it's shifted in general. Obviously when I started 16 years ago, we didn't really have Instagram and all of the social media platforms. And so I think at the time it was still obviously very print heavy, blogs, digital advertising. I just don't think was such a huge focus for brands.
Right.
Whereas we've obviously shifted. Now it's obviously very heavy. People need to have an e-commerce store. They need to have digital marketing to really help leverage their social channels, leverage, what they're actually talking about and what they're selling. So, it's obviously it ebbs and flows, but it definitely has had a shift from print to just fully digital. So it's definitely changed. The platform and landscape has definitely changed for sure.
That's interesting. And we hear this once in a while from brands. I don't know if I could take another social media platform popping up,
Yeah.
What's next and what do I need to worry about? And here we are talking about TikTok's been around for a while, but it's the next frontier in many ways, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. Again, I think for brand owners and business owners, it is very overwhelming. But again, I think with all the social platforms, it definitely is one of those things, like, you have to take it in stride. I think you have to just understand where your consumers are and where they're purchasing from. I don't necessarily think every brand needs to be on every social platform, but they just need to understand who their customer is so they can understand where to put their strategy towards.
Their buyer persona, their ideal customer profile, those very important words that come into play, because yes, you can't just you can't spray your money everywhere. It's better to focus on this. And TikTok may not be the place where your customer is, or maybe it is. Who knows?
Right.
Until you do that exercise, you don't really know that. So that's a very important point. Anybody out there who is maybe getting into the e-commerce space, is new or has been in a while and has never done that exercise, sitting down and really understanding your buyer persona is a huge, and maybe you hire an agency to do that for you and really help you with that. But whatever you do it. It's a very important exercise. So,
yeah.
Well, let's jump into the meat of the topic, TikTok. We're all here to learn about, TikTok. I'm, very intrigued by it. Especially, I know my son, my 12-year-old son, he's on it. He's, I should have had him come on the podcast and do the interview. He probably knows more about this topic than I do. But nonetheless, it's around us. But one thing, that I immediately wanted to get out, because I know that there is, still talk around security and privacy. And this was, at the height of, certain administration that was going after TikTok, and, talks of, data being exposed to other governments out there. What's your take on security and privacy? Is it still a concern?
I don't think it's as big of a concern as it was. Actually, TikTok is I will say TikTok is pretty secure in what they show, what they ban, what they, consider okay. A lot of accounts will get banned, unfortunately, just for different things that they've shown within either their ad and their organic. Truthfully, I don't think it's as bad as everyone thinks it is. But I mean, again, I think with any privacy clause, like it could be like that with any social channel. I don't necessarily think it's just TikTok specifically. I think it's, I mean, it could be anything.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, I know that, that got possibly blown up in the media. And then you had people worried about downloading TikTok, even though they still were doing it. That was the
Right.
funny part. Everybody was still doing it, but yet they were a little leery of maybe I shouldn't connect my contact list to TikTok because that's taking that extra step and I don't want to do that. But it's nice to know. And listen, the security concerns are probably true for many platforms out there,
Right. Exactly.
yeah. So it's not just for TikTok. So good. I wanted to get that out there because if anybody's sitting on the fence and not, participating in this revolution, and if it is important to their brand, they should put that aside, do their own research on where the security and privacy, issues may be out there.
Yeah.
So just in general, we've got a lot of social media, and I'm sure that we're going to have a lot more platforms that are going to pop up in the next few years. Tell me about right now on today's social media landscape, what makes TikTok more appealing than their competition? And we know that their competition are all trying to play catch up with them as
Yeah.
well.
I think the biggest thing for TikTok is that it's very much an engagement platform. You want to be entertained. You're going to be entertained. Truthfully, I mean, a lot of younger audiences, the Gen Zs out there, they look to TikTok for news. They look for TikTok
Yeah.
for, what's trending, like what's the next big thing. I think it's very much not only just a platform to interact with, but a lot of, younger people are starting to get their information from TikTok. So
Yes.
I think it's just one of those platforms that there's so many people on it and so much is happening on it that I think it's one of those things that it's kind of taking over news for
Yes.
a lot of people. So, I mean, really, like it's just there's so much content to consume with video and everything that's happening on TikTok that more people, I think, just get drawn to it, especially the younger generation, because it's entertaining along with the information that they're also seeking as well.
Yeah, that's that. And you're right about the news. I mean, my son, he's very well read now, or very
Yeah.
well watched. He knows everything. He told me today he's a Tom Brady fan, and if anybody who's listening doesn't like Tom Brady, no, do not take offense to this. He is. He came down. He says, they hired Tom Brady and his wife hired divorce lawyers, Dad. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that just came out like I think this morning
Yeah.
in my news feed, and he's waking up and popping on there. So he's getting educated. I don't necessarily know if that's education, educational information, but it's something, right? He gets it out there. So I agree with you, and it's however they can get their information. If it's through entertainment, that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So we all joke, that TikTok is where people go to show off their singing and dancing moves, right? This is the
Yeah.
thing that it always, comes out there. And, by the way, I noticed that the entertainment hashtag by popularity is, as you met, you said it's a place for entertainment, is the biggest hashtag out there, right? It's the largest. That is the most popular. People want to go to TikTok for entertainment. But then as you take a look at the e-commerce landscape and you're trying to grow sales and grow your traffic, how does that fit into the world of entertainment? Are brands going to have to do that singing and dancing and anything entertainment to get more traffic and more sales, or is there another way?
No. So I think that's what the biggest misconception is about TikTok, especially with brands, is that they look at it, and for the older generation, they look at it as, great, I'm going to have to hop on this, platform. I'm going to have to do this dance in order to be seen, or I'm going to have to, sing this song in order to like get
Right.
traction.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, it's all about taking those trends and translating them into your brand. So let's say there is a trending song or a trending dance. You don't necessarily have to do the dance for your brand, but you can take snippets of that song or even snippets of that dance, let's say, and utilize them in your videos so that as the songs that are trending are getting traction, when people are looking on TikTok, they're going to search those hashtags. They're going to search those trending audios and trending sound or trending movements or whatever. And they're going to find your brand. So it's one of those things you can take the songs and essentially translate them into your strategy of how you're going to talk about your brand. We work with so many clients where we take trending audio and we'll throw text on it. We'll work with the trend, but then we'll also add in trending things that are working for ads, as far as like, 3 reasons why, the green screen effect, this or that, like, what I ordered versus what I got. And you can utilize all these things within TikTok and put them into your ads and not necessarily have to do a dance or a song in order to be seen.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's very deep strategy right there. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, honestly, it's a, and that immediately dispels this notion that, it has to be, it has to be the dance or somebody has to sing. And
Yeah.
really focuses in on what, e-commerce business leaders out there are intrigued by. How do I get that traffic over from
Right.
TikTok onto my website, and how do I turn those people into long-term customers? That's great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So if I'm an e-commerce business owner, who, and I've been told, or I've done my buyer persona exercise, I know exactly who my buyer persona is. And I know that my buyer persona is probably on TikTok. What strategy, you already mentioned one. Are there any other strategies that you can share that would help me, get started? I've never been on TikTok. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, again, another misconception is that you can start running ads on TikTok without having any sort of organic following. And truthfully, you do need to build up your organic presence on TikTok. As it's funny because I always say that with the Reddit audience members are very critical on Reddit. I mean, if you want a good review of your brand, go to Reddit and they're going to tell you
Right.
exactly what they think.
Yeah.
Where I also feel that on TikTok, it's kind of the same thing in that if I'm serving up an ad, but my organic isn't on there, you will get called out for that. You will get called out for the fact that you don't have an organic presence on TikTok, but yet you're starting to run these ads. So I always say the first place to start is organic.
Okay.
Always make sure that you're going to at least have a representation of your brand. And again, it doesn't need to be these crazy dances or crazy songs. If you're utilizing the trending audio, you could be showing your product or talking about your product in a very native way on TikTok and still be relevant within the platform, as long as you have that sort of organic presence. I think that is truthfully where most brands should start building your organic presence, start making sure that you're on TikTok, understanding the platform. And then I think you can start moving into paid advertising, where you can start utilizing these trends and really focus them and shift them into advertising. I think the biggest thing with TikTok is that everything needs to look very organic to the platform. You need to make sure that you're shooting on an iPhone, shooting very native content, utilizing the copy that's in there, utilizing the trends that are in there as far as text overlay, transitions. I think those are the biggest things, because as people scroll through TikTok, they know when they're being served an ad if it's very high production. Whereas if it's someone just talking to you and talking about a product, it's not as noticeable if it looks very native to the platform.
Interesting. That's a great point. You bring up. I mean, it's like as if if you're not participating on the platform, essentially, right? If you're not contributing to the platform with, product information, whatever it is, and you start rolling out ads, sounds like the platform gets upset, or the people on the
Yeah.
platform, they find it to be there's no authenticity to what you're
Yeah,
doing, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So the simple step, just go set up a TikTok business page and start the process. Start talking, start showing, start doing that before you really get into the promotional aspect. Correct?
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
Great. And that's very easy to do.
Yeah.
That's a few clicks of a button, right? Get that thing going, and then let your creative juices start coming out before you start doing anything else. So great. I love that tip out there. Let's talk about social commerce, just, in general. It's become a very important part and very important strategy for e-commerce brands. Can you explain in more detail what social commerce constitutes and how it works? Not just on TikTok, but just, in general, how the world of social commerce works and how brands should think about it.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think social commerce is one of those things where obviously it's utilizing the social channels to actually
Mm-hmm.
leverage your brand as far as paid goes. So really focusing again on what platform your audience is going to navigate towards,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that you're speaking to them in a way that is obviously, again, native to each platform, and speaking them in a way where you want them to understand what your brand is. You want them to understand what you're selling. What are the benefits? How is this going to benefit my life? What are the features? How are the features going to benefit my life? I mean, really, at the end of the day, social commerce is talking to your customers and really showing them your product in a way, or product or app or whatever, on how it's actually going to benefit them. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing to think of is at the end of the day, you have consumers that are shopping for themselves. So, I mean,
Right.
majority of
Yeah.
people are shopping for themselves. So
Sure.
really it's just talking to your audience on how is this going to benefit my life and why should I choose your product over all the other products essentially.
Nice, nice. This question just came to me as you were talking about that. In terms of we're recording this in October, early October, but we have one of the most important times in commerce coming up in general, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Are you seeing brands really starting to focus, and when do they start launching initiatives on TikTok around that, and what kind of cool and interesting things have you seen last year when people did this? And maybe you guys are working on some things right now for brands.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, last year for TikTok, it
Hmm.
wasn't as prevalent as it
Hmm.
is going to be this year. We still were launching things on TikTok, but within TikTok, it was very much, again, people talking about, user generated content, content creators talking about the actual product, talking about the offer that's going to be, distributed for that Black Friday, Cyber Monday time.
Hmm.
And again, honestly, I think it's going to be kind of the same this year. It's going to be focused on people just talking about what your offer is. Again, like when is this going to happen? How long
Right.
is it going to happen for? Currently, we are actually working in Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy now. I think kind of the biggest focus for most brands right now is making sure that their audience that they currently have, just really having that retention, that
Hmm.
remarketing funnel very
Hmm.
prevalent so that you are obviously still talking to those consumers, but you already know that they're within your audience and that they're going to be giving this great offer for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I don't
Hmm.
necessarily know if Black Friday for prospecting is always the best because you don't want to obviously have people come in on an offer, then they're just always going to expect that.
Right.
But I definitely think that right now it's very much a lot of people are just talking about the offers that are going to be happening for Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Nice. No, that's great. And you mentioned retention, very important. Our agency focuses a lot on email and SMS marketing, but that capture, right? Once you get those
Right.
people over, getting that capture in there, where capturing an email address or an SMS number, and then working on, nurturing, because
Mhm.
social media isn't necessarily always a straight to buy scenario.
Right.
There's got to be a little bit of nurturing in there too. So those are very elements. This is, again, if a brand is listening, there are so many elements. TikTok will play the top of the funnel approach, bring your traffic in, and then other elements like email and SMS will take over, and then there's a lot more that happens. So yes, I guess digital marketing can get complex. If you
Yeah.
look at it, having a good strategy is a lot of work. So that is very interesting. And I assume people are using at least holiday related jingles and things like that in their approach, even though they may not be highly focused on a lot of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday on TikTok. They must be doing you must hear a lot of holiday, right?
It's interesting.
Or they
I again
don't. Oh,
last year wasn't, I don't think, as big as what it's going to be this year.
sure. Yeah.
Again, I'm curious to see what trends are going to pop up for
Mm,
Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And I think the thing with TikTok to understand is that it changes daily. I mean, what is trending today is not going to be the same thing that's going to be trending tomorrow.
interesting. Okay.
So making sure that within TikTok, within your ad account, that you're on
Mhm.
top of trends and you're on top of what's happening. Whereas Facebook and Instagram, it doesn't change quite as rapidly as
Hmm.
TikTok. So if you are utilizing that strategy, it is interesting to see what people are going to start posting, see what's trending, and then really start to pivot and jump on that trend to make sure that you start getting those assets in, because again, it could change very, very fast. So the
Wow.
thing with TikTok too is that your ads that work and can stay evergreen for a very long time within Facebook don't necessarily work that way in TikTok, where trends and evergreen assets fade faster in TikTok than they do in Facebook and Instagram. So I think that's always
Interesting.
something to remember, is that you need to make sure that you're constantly testing and constantly putting new creative into your ad account on TikTok, because again, your ads will fatigue much faster in TikTok than they do in Facebook and Instagram.
Wow, that's very interesting. And some may look at that and say, "Wow, that's a lot of work," but others may look at it and say, that lends itself to a lot of creativity, and
Yeah,
they enjoy that, and to be able to see. So you may have a home run one day, and then 2 days later, it's not really a home run anymore, right? It's just
right,
not resonating with people. So very great. I mean, these are phenomenal tips for people to understand, and this is a sign of a ever evolving platform. Then
right.
really, it's constantly evolving. Let's jump back into the commerce side. And, we know that for those who are in the Shopify space and, operate their stores on Shopify, Shopify and TikTok created a partnership.
Mhm.
Probably one of the first commerce platforms to make a deal with TikTok. And it allows brands to easily create video ads, track results, now even allows them to set up a shopping page. Are you seeing brands leveraging this a lot, this integration?
Truthfully, the brands that I'm currently working with
Hmm.
are not.
Interesting.
Um, and I think it just depends. I think
Hmm.
with TikTok, again, it's one of those platforms that a lot of brands, it's still very new to them. And so I think depending on how their traction is working will obviously help them utilize it. I do know some other media buyers that I work with, they
Hmm.
are utilizing the shopping feature within Shopify. To
Hmm.
be honest, I don't know how all of that's tracking.
Hmm.
I just know for myself and my clients, we're not all utilizing the Shopify integration.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, to be honest, again, I think it's something to definitely, if you have Shopify, to just integrate and test it. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, the biggest thing with TikTok is always testing. You always
Right.
need to test and you always need to learn, and you're going to learn very, very fast what's
Hmm.
working and what's not working. So I think if you kind of see like, oh, this is working for me, great, I'm going to continue on this path. If it's not, then you test something new. So
Yeah.
really with TikTok, it's all about testing.
No, that's great. That's great. And again, early days. So if you're not seeing a lot of that integration being utilized, who knows? It changes down the road. But really, at the end of the day, yeah, it's getting that data quickly,
Hmm. Yeah.
making decisions quickly, and then moving on to the next creative.
Yeah.
What's next out there? So no, that's the fun part. I think at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Can you point to any brands, any e-commerce brands that are just crushing it on TikTok and driving a lot, and maybe something about their ads? And again, we understand now that the ads, will evolve and will change. But is anybody really just crushing it out there?
I mean, honestly, there's a lot. I definitely would say probably Dr. Sasquatch was probably
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
first that I would say is just crushing it on TikTok. I mean,
Yeah.
he has already done, I mean, that brand has already
Mhm.
done so much growth within TikTok. I think they were really smart to hop on the trends really fast. And
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, their ads are great. They they know how to entertain. They know how to utilize the trends for their business. And honestly, if you are a brand first starting out on TikTok, I would definitely go and check Dr. Sasquatch, because they really crush it.
That's awesome. I love everything that they do, and awesome to know that they're crushing it on TikTok too. So they are leaders, and I mean their brand's entertaining and fun as it is.
Right.
They always have that approach, so it's a natural fit, I would
Yeah.
think, for them to be on TikTok, and just very interesting. So yeah, anybody wondering what's happening out there, go watch them. Go watch what's going on. We got it up on the screen right now, and take a look at some of the things. But fascinating. I
Yeah.
love that. Great product, great brand. Thanks for bringing that up. That's very good. Um, so let's take a step back, and just in away from TikTok, and you've provided some great information on TikTok, but let's just talk about e-commerce in general. If you were sitting in a college classroom and they invited you to come back and talk to, the up and coming e-commerce leaders out there, what advice would you give them that would really, like, as soon as they're out of school and they launch their brand, that would take their brand just to the next level fairly quickly?
That's actually funny that you say that. I actually do part-time teach at Chapman University,
Whoa,
and I
nice.
teach the design students, and advertising students. So truthfully, I mean, we kind of give this talk a lot,
Wow.
but really, again, I actually think kids or college students within this time frame
Mhm.
understand products much better, and they
Mm.
understand marketing a lot better. They're already on the trends. They're already understanding how they shop, how they purchase, and their purchasing power.
Mhm.
I do think a lot of the younger audience can make things go viral much faster than the older generation. So I would definitely say, to them, it's obviously understanding who they're trying to sell to, which I think, again, that's going to be very much a learned trait.
Mhm.
They have to do a lot of research, but for them, I think it's all about just getting their product out there and not being shy, which none of the younger generation is shy.
Right. Nobody's shy.
So,
Like, what happened? Like, they're
yeah.
amazing. They're amazing.
So, I mean, for them, I think it's going to be very much like building up that organic
Mhm.
reach really fast and then understanding who is purchasing from them. And then I think they'll be able to understand how to shift their product into
Mm.
these trends much faster than the older generation, because they just get it. I feel like, especially with like all the platforms that they consume, they just understand how to market, and they understand how to make that transition from product to social very quickly.
Yeah, yeah, it is fascinating, and watching me, they may be shy introducing themselves in person
Right.
to somebody, but they are not shy. It blows me away. I mean, I just look at my own kids. you know, Guests come over, and they're kind of sit back a little bit, slightly put their hand out to shake, but you throw them on TikTok the next day, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
They've got it all dialed in, and those are all very good points. And what I always like, I mean, I always like to say, there's no easy way, right? You're building a
Right.
business still, but if you can have some of those traits that you just mentioned and you can incorporate those, it's faster, right? You're going to get there
Yeah.
faster, and you can leverage platforms like TikTok very quickly, and also see what's working and what's not, especially if you're making changes like you mentioned so quickly on the platform, having to iterate and be different because trends are evolving as we speak out
Yeah.
there.
And I think
Well,
that's well, and
yeah,
I was gonna say, I think that's one of the things too with the older generation and their businesses, is that they don't like to be in front of the camera, so they
yeah,
have a much harder time
sure.
doing that. Whereas like a younger generation, like you said,
Mhm.
they turn it on and they're like on.
Right. Right. It's yes. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe I'll continue doing these live podcasts, and my kids will actually say, "Oh, Dad's relevant still. He's not afraid to get in front of the camera. He's cool. He's cool. At least
Yeah.
while he's in front of the camera. After that, he's just dad. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
anymore." So that's great. Well, I mean, I think the takeaway from this is, if it fits your buyer persona, if TikTok fits, then, and you're sitting on the sidelines, get on. And if it means getting on and hiring somebody who's younger, who's not afraid to get in front of the camera and help you create, so be it. But just get on
Yeah.
and start growing, start observing, start testing. And don't wait, because 1.3 billion people, I think that number was from January. I'm sure it's even higher now. I think it's expected to be closer to 1.8 by the end of the year, and it's just going to keep growing and
Yeah.
growing and growing. And that these are the early days. This is like, you think back to Facebook and
Mhm.
Instagram. If you got on that train early, and built a brand, life is good.
Yeah.
You figured it out.
Exactly.
So do the same now, everybody. Do the same. Don't wait. Don't wait. Well, thank you for that. I mean, I'd like to ask you some rapid fire questions just to get to know you a little bit better,
Yeah.
and kind of figure out, your approach to life, as well as, building this business. What gets you excited to wake up and tackle each and every day?
Um, Honestly, I mean, my family, I mean,
Mm.
they're my driving force behind a lot of things I do. So definitely just, providing for my family and just making it very, very much about them.
Nice. That's awesome. That's giving back basically to your
Yeah.
family, making that the central focus. I love it. Now, in order to wake up in the morning, is there a drink of choice to get you going?
Oh, coffee.
Of course.
100%.
How many cups and what do you put in it?
I just do 2. I could do
Okay.
more, but I only do 2. And I just honestly just a little bit of creamer and that's it.
All right, very good, very good. That's yes, everybody's got their own technique on what they like in their coffee, and nobody's come on and said tea. I'm waiting for tea to be the answer. I thought tea was a little bit bigger worldwide, and we talk to people from all over the world, but tea has not come on, and nobody's
Oh,
mentioned it.
interesting.
Yeah, very very odd. It's all about coffee. Most of them black coffee. That seems to be the trend out there. So if you could do any job besides the one that you're doing today, what would it be?
Ooh, that's tough. I love what I do, so that's a hard one. But honestly, it's so fun. I'd want to do makeup.
Hmm,
It's like the of, but I'm so fascinated by it
nice.
and all things that people can do with it. So I'd probably do something with makeup.
Nice. Well, that's very interesting. Yeah, somebody asked me that same question. I couldn't. I'm like, I love what I do too. I don't
Yeah,
know of
it's
anything
tough.
else that I would do differently. I think I'm doing all the things I like. If somebody would maybe take over some of the harder work, maybe the
Yeah.
tactical side, and I can continue to focus on strategy. That's a winning day for me.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. So cosmetics, very nice. Makeup. Um, is there a go-to SaaS software or app on your phone that you just cannot live without? You check it every day, multiple times.
Mm. Um, Honestly, Asana. I
Ah.
literally that's like that's my like my life when for my agency. So I like
Yeah,
always have to check that.
you are an agency owner. You
Yeah.
definitely are. If Asana is what you check in the morning and multiple times, then yes, you are an agency owner. Yes, we do click up, but same concept, right? Same
Yeah.
concept. If you could give yourself one talent that you currently don't have, what would it be?
Mm. Probably being a musician. I
Ah,
love music, and that's something that I find so fascinating how people can just play so many different instruments.
mhm.
So I would definitely, yeah, I'd
That's
be
cool.
the Dave Grohl girl version.
Nice. That's awesome. Yes, yes. He's very talented.
Yes.
Does it all, right? So, and let's end with an e-commerce question. What's your favorite online store and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Um, oh man. Um,
Yeah, I don't ever have an answer. I just say
I
Amazon. Be
yeah, I was
safe. I'm
gonna say
like,
I was
I don't know.
literally just gonna say Amazon. I'm like, because it's everything's on there.
Yes, that counts. That counts.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Yes, no, absolutely. And I timed myself once to see how quickly I could find a product and place an order for the product, and it came down to almost like 30 seconds. That's how quick. So to me, that's an amazing, right? That's an
Yeah.
amazing app where you can get a product, not necessarily to your door that quickly,
Right.
but that's coming. But you can get that order done, especially if you know exactly what you're looking for and you don't vacillate over the thousands of options. I just go for the review, great review, boom, done, bye, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's move on.
same
So
thing.
yes, I love it. I
It's
love
very
it.
fast.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. This is Lauren. This has been amazing to talk about this. I've wanted to talk about TikTok for a long time. We have, and you came to us, perfect timing, and really to understand the nuances and give people actionable steps. And that's what you did today. You really brought that in there. So thank you for coming on the E-commerce Revolution podcast. And just take a minute and share and maybe tell people about the new agency as well and where they can find out about the Loft 325 as well as you yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my creative studio or creative agency is the Loft 325. So anything obviously for paid social, organic, we do all of that. We will do your strategy and actually execute on it. The new agency actually that we just launched, it's with two of my other partners. Sarah Levinger and Nicole Cromwell. It's called HG Performance Creative, and we focus solely just on your creative strategy. So if you're looking for creative strategy for your brand, that is all we will be focusing on.
So this is wonderful, and I'm glad you shared all that. Now I've got a quick little question about Asana. Did you set up a second instance of Asana for the new agency, or you keep the same one and just create another list in there, or how'd you do it? Just curious.
Yeah. So it's funny, but on the new agency, we actually use Monday.
Oh,
so that's like a
nice.
whole
Okay.
nother platform that I'm learning.
Nice.
Because I've used Asana for years. So
Right.
but Monday is definitely a new platform for me.
Yeah, we played around with Monday. I love Monday. It's visually appealing too. It's very visually appealing. So I'll be curious to check in with you down the road, and maybe at some point Asana's gone. And no offense to Asana, great platform, but maybe Monday's taking over all your business, both of your businesses. Who knows? Who knows? Well, Lauren, thank you again for coming on and sharing your knowledge. Entertaining us, informing us on how the world of TikTok works and what we should do. And we hope we wish you the best of luck with your new agency and continued growth. And everybody out there, please reach out to Lauren and her multiple agencies if you need help with all of these things. I mean, digital strategy is very important. That top of the funnel traffic, creative, all of these things are really important. So definitely reach out to Lauren. So thank you very much, Lauren. Appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. That brings us to the end of another episode of the E-commerce Revolution podcast. Don't forget to check out our past episodes, which are all available on demand on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcast. We do an audio version as well. This podcast, again, will be available on demand. The replay will be available shortly after our live episode ends. As always, if you need help with your email and SMS marketing, you can always reach out to us at hello, HELLO, at skuagency.com. Mention the podcast and we'll hook you up with a free email and SMS strategy review for your e-commerce business, which is valued at $850, an incredibly valuable tool that will help you navigate and decide where you want to go with email and SMS. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. See ya.